San Francisco 49ers. Is the theme of the season moving on? Let's dive in. Kyle Shanahan is coming off a real incredible year as far as his reputation as a head coach, just getting 12 wins with a team that had no business doing that. But now there's been a few things that kind of make me think that he might be in position to maybe move on. And remember, this is pure speculation. This is just the authentic takes opinion. But to me, if you're kind of preparing for the future, why are you not at the NFL combine? And granted, I know what you're going to say. He never attends the NFL combine, and it's usually John Lynch. But wouldn't you wanna switch things up to maybe just show, like, any improvement, maybe get deeper connections with these players that you might end up drafting? I just feel like you might wanna change things up, and this could kinda come off cocky, like, "I already know what I'm doing, whatever, let, John handle that." But it's one thing this season that I would think that he would just wanna attend and be visible and show that he's not such a hard ass, quiet, abrasive guy that you can't approach, that kinda is his, like, genius type quiet attitude, at least my opinion. So, if he's not attending the NFL Combine, does he really care about the future? That's kinda how I'm looking at it. Like, if you don't wanna invest the time for the future, then do you really even care about the long term? And do you not care about the long term because you're not gonna be here? That's just, a thought I had as far as the NFL Combine. And also why to me it's kind of funny that he's not at the NFL Combine when I think he could have been there, is that he's actually doing a flag football league or competition in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I think also Christian McCaffrey is down there with him and stuff. But why is that something that's like interesting you right now? Like some international type of thing where, I mean, I guess you go because Tom Brady, I think, is running it or endorsing it. So maybe that's something. Maybe, if Kubiak doesn't work out, he's trying to get in good with Brady. So maybe he could take over the Raiders and just look like a super genius. But yeah, that's just way overboard. But like, why are you going to Riyadh? Like for a flag football competition? Like, say that's for like the Saudi, like youth. Well, you care about the youth over there, but you don't care about the NFL combine and kind of interacting with the youth and seeing who you could get this year. It just kind of seems funny to me. And I just don't get his like interest in this whole Riyadh thing. And he's a good coach and everything, but what exactly is he going to be teaching in flag football besides just being a popular face and NFL coach? I just it's just really puzzling to me and I just don't get it. And honestly, the biggest thing that got my antlers up, my antennas up, is it kind of feels like Kyle Shanahan is trying to do a rebrand because obviously I'm a 49ers fan. And when I look at Kyle, I see a quiet guy that doesn't like to give a lot of information. And he's just very, abrupt with his answers, short, almost like a little more or the same realms as a Bill Belichick, the way he would answer stuff. But he gives a little bit more of a personality than a Belichick. But he's kinda like that, and it's kinda like you never know what he's thinking. You think you know Kyle Shanahan, but you just don't know if you really do. So now he's kinda doing a rebrand. He's like a sideline reporter for the Super Bowl. It just looks weird to me because if you're Kyle and you take everything personal, he's over there talking about the team that just pummeled him twice in 2 weeks, and would you really wanna be doing that unless you needed to or you were interested in a rebrand or just wanted to change perception that, I could take a loss, but I'm a big man and I could deal with it and, truck on. I don't know. It just kind of looked weird. I know you're going to say that, Fred Warner was there with him, but, Fred Warner's probably itching to get out of the house with his injury. But I don't know. It just kind of looked weird. And then he was on the Super Bowl coverage, like the halftime and everything. And he's all like, I don't like talking about Seattle because, they just, I don't know what advice I could give or instinct or not instinct, insight I could give because they handled us and they handled me in my game plan. It's just kind of like, what are you doing this for? So to me, I honestly think mainly with this point is that he's trying to rebrand himself that he's approachable, he's a nice guy, he listens and he could follow a program, like being on, Super Bowl coverages and stuff. So I think that's what's going on right now. I think he's trying to do a rebrand. And I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers don't have a season into where they are happy with the outcome or feeling like maybe they're one step away. And to me, at least reaching the NFL champion or the NFC championship, which might be a long shot. This indeed could be a rebranding for a new head coaching job or a new job somewhere else. So let's see if that pans out. As far as another situation and moving on, we got this whole Trent Williams, the Silverback Gorilla situation. And it's kind of puzzling because it kind of feels like this is going on like every season. It's like we got all these other people that are having some kind of contract issue. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, okay, we got through this. And then Trent Williams pops up and, he's just all about his guaranteed money, which I get it, but we're trying to tool this offensive line. And at some point, some people are saying that we really need him. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer, but does it make sense to just cut him? Because this season, I believe he's guaranteed just shy of $40 million. And the 49ers are trying to restructure his contract, to make it more team friendly. And it's not a guarantee that Trent will want to do that. So even last offseason, the 49ers were really cutting the meat off the team. So I don't know what to really expect with this situation. And we have like kind of a thin offensive line. That's really one of the focal points that we really have to address in the offseason. And losing a key piece like this, I don't know if it's ideal, but we just might have to do it and it might work out in the long run. And then on the other hand, can we survive without Trent Williams? That's a really good question because I don't know if we can. Like, to me, the only guy that I see as like kind of strong that could, maybe be like a key guy for the future is Pooney. I think he's in like year 3. The other guys are just kind of like fill-ins. We've let go of a lot of guys. And I just think like maybe we won't survive without him because I think we have to start fresh and just draft a whole bunch of offensive linemen that we really need to like put work in with. And we might just not be able to survive without Trent Williams. And it's kind of a scary thought. I mean, God, he's been here like what? Probably 6, 7 years. And people forget that he was actually a Washington Redskin. So no offense to anybody out there, but he was on Washington when they were actually that name. So that tells you how long ago that was. But I think this might have to be a bullet that we'll have to, bite the bullet, and we might not be able to survive without him, but it's just something that we might have to do for the future of the 49ers organization. It's definitely tough times as a San Francisco 49er fan right now, even coming off a 12-win season. That's what I think. So let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Is Kyle Shanahan and Trent Williams, are they just going to end up moving on from the San Francisco 49ers in their particular situations, or am I just way over my head? Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure, like always, you subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell them to subscribe too. And like always, this has been The Authentic Take.